dog, one child, one youth, one dog, you think big, you. Together we can do this in our continent, you. Think big, you. I say one dog, one child, one youth, one dog, you. Think big, you. Together we can do this in our continent, you. Think big, you.
I would like to express my profound gratitude and appreciation for our Director of Training, Mr. Blessing. I believe that the audio was interrupted at the question and answer period. But for those of us who have listened the entire discourse, we can say it was fully loaded and research was put into its content. And I urge that the training be repeated, that recording at least 3 times this week, so that more people will be able to listen. Because if we, as Theasians, embraced what was said, it will make us to become what we should, not what we are, but what we should. And so appreciation again to Mr. Alu, as you highlighted the reason why we are where we are, when you emphasize the importance of self-development and the obstacles and the way how we are being treated as people of color, and the level of our understanding and our acceptance of our reality and practicing it every day. As you said, except we are angry and upset with our condition, except we confront our condition, we will not be able to conquer it. You mentioned that prayer is relevant. Also, fasting is relevant. Anointing is relevant. Everything has its relevancy, but nothing can take the place of actual doing. Actual doing. Even the script says, work, faith, and belief without work, it is equally dead. And as I mentioned to my friend Doc yesterday, that there's a difference between faith and foolishness. There's a difference between faith and foolishness. Because if I decided to jump from a 10-story building with all the faith I possessed, with all the anointing that I have, with all the speaking in tongues, gravity will put me into one direction. With all that faith, gravity will put me into one direction, and that is downwards. And so I cannot be foolish enough to say, because I have faith, that gravity will respect by positioning me in mid-air. It will not happen. And so even nature teaches us a lesson. Nature teaches us a lesson. And so we appreciate the profound research and in-depth understanding and the ability to elucidate yesterday's training. I urge everyone to listen to it, its content. And so this morning, I want to speak of devalue. The word devalue. How can a people be devalued? How can a community, How can an organization be devalued? And how can one become devalued? An organization, programs and system. What is the effects of being devalued? Because I've always said that no one can ignore a person of value. The world, your country, your community can never ignore an organization that has value, a people, a community with value. And so, how can we in the Tiashan community can be compared as being devalued? Because where we are now, we are in a devalued state of affairs, a devalued state of thinking, a devalued state of operating. And how did we get there? And it is very simple. Anything that stops moving becomes devalued. I spoke about a rolling stone that gathered no mass. And even though you can be moving and have a level of depreciation, but when you are not moving, you become devalued 3 times as much. And so I want you to keep that in the back of your head. When a project, when a system, when individual decide to stop move or to learn new things or keep expanding on what you know, you become devalued. We're talking about devaluing and how we become. You have a property. A property inhabited will lose value over time. 5, 10, 15 years, you build a house, and you will begin to show sign of repair that you will need to repair over time. But as you occupy that house, open up the windows, clean it down, as you move around into that property, devaluing slowly, yes, against closing that property, locking that property down, unoccupied property, it will lose its value 3 times as much. May I submit to the global community of Tiashans, we have stayed in one position and one mindset for too long. With all the information that we have at our fingertip, with all the training, with all the direction that we have been given, simple direction, as was given to Peter, nothing technical. Can you cast your net on the other side? You have tried everything that known in your field of fishing. You even strip naked. So you cannot say that your clothes were heavy. They were hindrance to your skills. You were buck naked, fishing all night. We in the community of Tiashans, We have been given an economy and a system that never worked for our great-great-grandparents, never worked for our great-great-grandparents, never worked for our great-grandparents, never worked for our grandparents, never worked for our parents, and it is not working for you. The systems that we were given, look at your community is as a result of the system to which we were given and the level of control to which we are asked to comply. A lot of us believe that we can run to this person, run to that person, run to that political party, run to this political party. And we put our emphasis, we put our all into these systems. But take some critical analysis of what they're producing and ask ourselves the questions. Is this really our answer? Is this really our answer? Today you support a political party, they won, you are given a little job, and the next one come, they take you from that position. Is that what you want? Is that tenable? It's not tenable. Is this how we're going to, this is how we're going to change? Is this what we inherited that we want to leave for our children? Is that what you're settling for? Is that how we want to leave the face of the earth? Not yet being discovered, with all your dreams and your goals and aspirations, looking at you at the end of your departure, going back to where you came from, unknown, undiscovered, have not made any impact in life. While you were born because only you alone has the ability to solve a particular problem. 1 million sperm went for the egg, but you came out to be a blessing. But most of us have turned out to be deceivers and dream killers of others. A lot of us now came out to be stumbling blocks and bridge burners for others. A lot of us now become curse, blocking. Because if you're not fulfilling your purpose, if you are not on the journey of solving that problem, because solving that problem opens opportunity. As you solve problems, and as I said that, Bishop Dr. Alexander, our former executive coordinator for Liberia, he always say, Mr. Abundance, problem solver. Mr. Abundance, problem solver. And it carries weight, believe it or not. When people can look at you as problem solver, it is for that reason you were born, to solve the challenges that will naturally come to mankind. You are not here by mistake. But once you're not falling in line, once you're not being a blessing, you will be a curse. It is two ways. Some people think that you only sin when you commit adultery, or when you steal, or when you backbite, or when you deceive. No. You sin every day when you are not fulfilling that which you were born to do. And so I ask the community of Tiashans this morning, move from where you are, because you are being devalued 3 times as much in the community of TAC. And if you are being devalued, we are also devaluing TAC. You cannot get momentum in a devalued state or mindset. You cannot get momentum when you're not moving. And so, can we understand? Can we come to a realization that everything to transform our lives is in our hands only if we have the ability to speak in one voice? We don't need anything else. A matter of fact, we don't need no more than one exchange to become billionaires intact. And you have 3, and your own is coming, and we are still crying. Why are we crying? Because we do not want to create anything of our own. We do not appreciate our own. And even though you're in your own, you're not paying attention. You are still looking for what is foreign. You are still looking for what is best. As the director emphasized, you pay no attention. And so you wake up like a drunken man, asking questions that have been answered 1,000 times. And so how do we stay in this devalued mindset and attract value? How do we remain in this devalued, conditioned, and mindset and expect to attract value? That is the question. And so this morning, I encourage all of us to understand where we are and where we can go if we understand everything we have in our hands. The ability to move tack from cents to 1,000 is a matter of our mindset. If we can follow direction. This is Chief Abundance. Good morning.